So today, we've returned to the spawn village and the town square with all its shops, and I would like to finish our escalator to nowhere. We have an escalator up that we can get to nowhere, but we can't come back from nowhere. So I think what I'd like to do is add a track coming down the other side, get it all nice and functional, and then make it look just moderately pretty, just a little bit. Give it a little bit of window dressing. If you don't remember, or if you didn't see the video where we made the escalator the first time, it uses a timer to send redstone signal in a specific sequence with these frame motors and a block deployer to deploy these frames, support frames. So it's going to go up, then deploy, then right, then deploy in a continuous cycle, and the frames are going to come back down this tube, and a similar redstone signal is being sent up the back of that in order to send power to the block breaker. Works very nice. But we can do a few things to make it a little better. So one thing we can do, this pneumatic tube here, we don't need to run it all the way down. If I'm going to place a deployer here, I'm going to place a deployer right there. And so the next, the track going back down is going to start basically right there. We can send this pneumatic tube around to feed the deployer here. And then once we get back down here to the bottom, we can send a pneumatic tube from the block breaker, which is going to block the returning track. And send it to this deployer. So then we don't need all these pneumatic tubes, but we still have all of this wire running up there. Well, I think we're going to use some wireless receivers and transmitters, a little bit of wireless redstone. So we're not going to need any of this going up there. We're just going to have the track going up, the track going down, and eventually I'll hide all of the redstone. We'll have a nice, pretty, little pad here for the escalator, and then up here we'll have something somewhat similar. First thing I need to do, though, I need to figure out exactly how these are going to work. The engines, the frame motors that are going to send the track going back down. So let's go ahead and turn this guy off. We don't need to have him running the whole time. Yep. Okay. People asked why I didn't use a sequencer, by the way. And if you put a sequencer down, a sequencer will send signal to 4 sides, and it would have simplified these timings because I had to figure out, very specifically when each timing was happening in fractions of the time interval of 7 seconds here. And I got really specific with it. I had to get it to line up right. And people said, why not just use a sequencer, because it'll send the signal divided evenly. Well, I can't figure out how to turn a dumb sequencer off. If you send redstone signal to a timer, it shuts off. If you send signal to a sequencer, nothing happens. How do you turn it off? There's probably a way to turn it off. I don't know how to turn it off. So I didn't use one. And we figured out the timings now, so it's just a matter of replicating these timings here. The first timing, the first signal isn't delayed at all. And then the second signal gets a little bit of delay, this guy right here. And then the third signal to the second frame motor gets that much delay. I'll just copy that for the timing up there. And then the fourth signal gets the most delay. It gets 3 of these guys set to whatever they're set to. I don't remember, but I'll just look at it and copy it. So anyway, what I need to figure out before I set up the pneumatic tube, because I need to figure out how much space the wiring is going to take up, I need to figure out the order these need to go in. So these need to go back down that way. So this guy, yep, the first thing it's doing is it is going up. It's going up, then a block is being deployed, then it's going this way, and a block is being deployed, and I'd like them to sort of match as much as possible in their motion. So this one, this is going to go up. I think this one needs to go over first. I think it needs to do the reverse, because this one is going to come up. This frame right here, it's going to fill that space. So I think this escalator needs to fill that space as well in order for them to sort of occupy the same space, because I want them to sort of line up as much as possible. Oh, okay, come on. No, get back on there. So let's, oh gosh, these Boots of the Travelers. Sometimes they're more trouble than they're worth. All right, so let's go ahead and put down 3. So we're going to say it's going to move. Whoa, stop it. Stop. It's going to move over first. And, oh, come on. Just stand on there. It's going to move over and then down. So does it matter which one is which? I don't think it will actually matter. So it's going to move to that one first, then deployer. That one second, then deployer, and I'll have to copy the timings. So what I can do now is get rid of this and figure out the wiring. But one thing we can do now, we can go ahead and delete this because I don't need this anymore. We can send the redstone signal up with a wireless receiver transceiver thingamajobs. And actually, let's go down it backwards. That's probably the easiest. Careful not to blow up any of this with our super pick. Here. Okay, so I'm going to set up some of that wiring, and then we'll what am I trying to say? We'll troubleshoot it. We'll try and figure out if it works or if it don't. And a little update. Okay, so, ouch. Turn that back on. I was coming down here. I don't even know what I was doing. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had broken all of this stuff, and I was standing right here, and then kabloom, and all of this stuff blew up. There was a creeper here for some reason, and he blew up all of this, and I didn't have the stuff to rebuild it. So I had to go back to my base, get stuff, all the different pieces, come back. I didn't have enough frame motors here. I didn't have one of these Bluetricity batteries. So I had to come back. Thank goodness I had just taken footage. I had just recorded footage in the earlier part of this video that showed the timings for these repeaters, because otherwise, I guess I could have watched the first Escalator to Nowhere video, because this all blew up. I had to rebuild it. But, okay, so what I did is I set up a little transmitter to send the signal up there. And here's the receiver to send the signal. Oh, the rain. It just won't stop. And I was thinking of how I was going to reroute the pneumatic tubes. I think I'm going to reroute them straight across here. I like Red Power that you can have these pneumatic tubes and then put a panel above them and then the wiring on top. And I was thinking, hey, I'm going to have to copy this and put it on that side. And I was like, I don't really need to. I can just use the signal to go both to this deployer to this block breaker and to this deployer. I can use the same redstone signal to go to both, which means I can also move this little bit of wiring into the center here, so it's not going to stick out so much, which is nice. Okay, so what I want to do now is just make a little bridge here and figure out the pneumatic tubing. You can break that. Break that. Okay, replace that with a panel. And then replace that with wire. And, whoops, that's the wrong thing. Replace that with wire, and I am going to move these over, but I want to the pneumatic tube. I want to get that routing sorted out before I do anything else. I've got these guys set up, so the rest should be pretty easy. This is going to be a little easier than I thought it would. Now I just have to figure out basically the pneumatic tubing going into the back of this guy. But still leaving myself a way to send signal to this. So I think they're going to go just under there, like that. Let's connect them up. And I haven't done this down below. Haven't got that far yet. Oh, come on, really? Here, I'll stand down here. This is what I built that for. Why are you doing that? Huh. There. That's really weird. I guess because I was highlighting this block, so it automatically picked the next adjacent full block. All right, so that is set up. Then can I still connect this? So if we connect that like that, the motor is going to push it this way first. And these guys are not connected to anything except the deployer and the frame motors, which don't become connected. Then it's going to deploy, and we should probably give it some. It's going to deploy, and then it's going to push it down. Oh, okay, so these blocks under here are a problem. Ooh, I knew that would be an issue. Okay, so I'm going to have to rework that. But what I can do, okay, so what I can do is move this here, like that. Yeah, okay, and then I can move these back up. I moved these down because I wasn't sure how I was going to hook up the wiring to that deployer. And as usual, there's ferocious lag in spawn, despite all of the work that's gone into making the server less laggy. Spawn is still laggy. Still laggy. Probably will always be laggy just with the amount of machines in one little area. Probably unavoidable. Okay. So like that. Break that guy. Repeaters. Go to this one, I think. All right, and then redstone. There. Okay, and so the only other thing I need to do is I just need to move this into the center. And I think that should be all right. And we can break these now. I'll leave this little platform here in case I need something to stand on to build. Okay, so let's look at it again. It's going to move it that way, and it's fine like that. It's going to deploy a block right here. Then it's going to push it down and deploy again. Okay, I think that's fine. Whoop. Pick that up. All right, so the only other thing I need to do, I need to move this into the center, and this signal right here needs to link up with that to send an instantaneous pulse to this guy, to synchronize with that guy, and this guy to sync up with the second frame motor. All right, I think I have updated all the wiring. I haven't tested any of it, but it should be good to go if I didn't mess up. Fingers crossed. If I did not mess up, it should be good to go both down here and up there, and then after we test it to make sure it works, we can proceed to the pretty in the place up phase. Before I turn the sucker on, okay, we've got 2 stacks in there. So what I did down here is all I did was I took the clock, which was up here at surface level, and I brought it down here because we need to send pulse not just to the deployer, but also to the block breaker, and they're on the same timing. So I just reworked it there's like a cave here with monsters spawning. It's freaking me out. I've already had a creeper explode all this, and I don't want it to happen again. Anyway, they require signals at the same time. So to simplify things and not have to build that twice, I just split the signal. And I also dropped everything by a block to make prettying up the surface a little bit more straightforward, a little easier once we start doing that. And then there's a pneumatic tube, which will take stuff from the breaker over to the deployer. And then up here, I added in a BT battery. I'm kind of tired today. My brain's not really working. And it took me like 5 or 10 minutes to figure out why these... I was doing a little bit of testing on this upper section before working down there. And it took me like 10 minutes to figure out why these frame motors weren't working. And I was like, oh yeah, there's no battery connected to solar panels. So it's now connected to solar panels under there. There is a transceiver, which maybe I didn't show. It's right about there, connected to this timer and that switch. And it gets received right here. So the first signal, which has no delay, goes here to that frame motor, which is going to make them go that way. And this was a little testing setup. I can delete this once it all works. And then the signal that comes at 3.5 seconds out of the 7-second timer, that goes here to these two, to this frame motor. And then the two that go to the breaker and deployer, they're right here. And it's the same clock as below, if everything works. So let's give it a few tests. I don't think I have a button. Let's see. I could probably do a little test like that. Let's see if it worked here. So if that worked, it should have moved it over and deployed and then down and deployed. Oh, shoot. Okay, I see a fatal flaw. So when it moved it over, there was nothing there to move it down. I've got to reverse these two. Man, my brain really is not working today. Okay, let's break this. And then we'll have to reverse the signals. So turn this guy to the right. Whoop, no. Push this guy down. Hopefully this won't make this guy in a bad location. And I won't have to move that. I'll think about that in a second. Okay, so we'll have to reverse those two, which actually isn't that bad. And I think I've done it. And when I reversed them, the wiring ended up being simpler. So it takes up less space, uses less red alloy wire. That's nice. Okay, so that should work. First pulse. Whoop. So many ledges is going to come snake down around this thing to hit this guy. Then the next pulse will hit these two breaker deployer pairing. Then the next pulse will reach around to this guy. Little reach around, it's always nice. And then the next one to those. Okay, so let's see if that works. Hopefully that works. Oh boy. Please work. Okay, so the last thing this should have done is that... Yes, I think it worked. I think that worked. Yeah, it's hard to get up here fast enough to check, but I'm pretty sure that worked. Let's do a few more just to see. Man, that causes some updates. How are we doing here? You've got 2 stacks. Okay, you're going to be fine. Let's do a couple more. And if everything looks fine after this, we'll turn on the system until it gets back down here. And then that's the moment of truth. Did I wire this end up as well? Is everything going to meet harmoniously? It seems to be working because it's extending downward. Nothing's getting jammed up. How many do we have here? 64. Okay, let's give them both about 2 stacks just in case. They shouldn't need that much now that the pneumatic tubes are so close. Okay, let's let her rip. Here we go. I don't know how long I can run this thing with just one BT battery on either end before it'll run out. But I'm sure it's enough power to at least get the guy down here. It's full of power. Seems to be working. Nothing going through the tube because the flibbity-flobbity isn't down here yet. Ooh, that's crazy looking as they slide past each other. Come on, do it. Oh, yes, look at that. Oh, it looks so cool. Yeah, sliding past each other in formation. Information's being sent through the information escalator. This is neat. This actually took me a long time off camera to get all the wiring set up correctly and sort of as more or less minimal. You could probably chop it down in size a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with the way it is now, and they're working. It's working! So that thing's got to get all the way down here. And then we should be able to start putting it up. So while I'm waiting on that, let's dump some stuff. Give me that back, actually. Let's dump some of this stuff in here. I'll send that back. Any copper I see is very valuable. Oh, no, I'm going to put these over there in my town square storage. That can go back in there. And okay, we can probably get over there and back. Whoop. Before it finishes. Hopefully, like, the entire server doesn't blow up when that happens. I mean, it should work fine. And even if it doesn't, all it's going to do is jam. And one side will eventually run out of pneumatic tubes. So worst case scenario, it'll still be okay. But I'd like to be there when it first does it. I don't think we'll make it back in time, though. Which, it's fine. It's fine. No big deal. Okay, we need some blocks to pretty up that area. I've got all of these. We could use some zirconium. I tried before to use them and never really kind of worked out. We could use some of those. Some basalt. Can we turn these pavers back into normal? No, you're kind of stuck with them, aren't you? How do we make these? Just normal. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we can turn them back. What else we got? Maybe some wood? Can we chop up wood? I don't think so. Let's look up panel. Wooden plank. So just oak basically. Can you slice up is what it looks like, and jungle wood, oak wood, but not the planks themselves. I guess that's okay. I guess so. And let's get the other thing I want. I know I saw them. Some of these. Okay, that'll be enough to get us going. Let's go see if it's working properly or not. Looks like it's reached the end point. How are we doing? Uh-oh. What happened? No. Oh, it's still going. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so neat. It looks, because one's going down and one's going sideways. See how this one went up, this one went down, and this one went forward? It looks like they're moving diagonally as they slide past each other, but they're really not. That's so cool. I wish it didn't lag so much. Like, see that little flicker? I just saw a zombie over there. I gotta watch out for monsters. There's a couple people online, so I can't just sleep to get rid of the night. Okay, that is very cool. Man, that's I love making stuff like that. All right. That's good. So let's see what happens. We also need to get some light. I may make some more of those inverted, what do they call it? Inverted lamps things? Maybe we can finally use some of this dark zirconium. So we will need to use some covers on top of those, or maybe we won't be able to put anything there because it's going to interfere. Come on, man. Why can't it? Oh, there's a ladder. That's my little access hatch down below. Okay, oh, and I also wanted... I can move this lower, actually, so that we can have a full ring of zirconium. For now, let's do that. And these guys... I'm going to have 3 pieces of glass right there. And we can't have anything there, can we? That's going to cut it off. That's in the way. I mean, I could reroute all this stuff. I just don't want to reroute it endlessly. Okay, come back here. Maybe, maybe the zirconium just won't go that far. But anyway, that works. I need to go grab some glass to cover that. I'm going to do a little bit of work making it look nicer, and then we'll resume, I guess. Ta-da! It's all finished. The only thing I haven't done is test that none of the blocks I placed are going to make the whole thing shut down. Finally got to use some zirconium blocks for aesthetic effect. The only thing I really don't like much are these basalt brick covers over some of the wiring here. And I had to leave a lot of it exposed just from the nature of the way it works. Let me think about this. This is going to go up first, and it's going to... This frame is going to be right here. So I can't put anything here, like an extra slab. So things like that were just sort of... nothing I can do about it, really. It's just the nature of the way it works. And if you look at panels or covers... there wasn't really anything that really stood out that I thought would match nice. Maybe a ruby block cover? Yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyway, I think this is going to work without jamming up the system. Let's see. Zistau's escalator to nowhere, officially open. After 7 seconds, it'll start going. Okay, there it goes. Okay, it looks to still be working. Let's give it a few cycles. Yes, working. Good. Okay, good. I didn't mess anything up. Okay, let's ride it up, sort of. And I'm not going to ride it all the way up. Don't worry about that, because it takes too long. It's an escalator. The one thing I would like to have is some elevator music. I know there's the Portal records you can make. I haven't made any of those, but that like the that music, that would go perfect with this. That's the one thing that's missing, is that elevator music. So I may come back to add that at some other time. I just haven't gotten around to making those. I don't even know what the let's see if it's under record. I think I may have made one on the first map before we reset the server. But I don't know. I'd have to look up how to make that later. But yeah, that would go perfect with this. But other than that, it's all done. We're not actually moving because of the way frames work. So let's just walk up. And I decided to leave a lot of this wiring exposed because, for one, I thought it looked kind of neat watching it go. And two, I thought people would probably be curious they might want to come and look at the wiring and see how it works. And we needed to leave the panels exposed. So I did kind of just a minimal decoration here. So this is when you get to the top of the escalator, this is the little platform. There's the frames, moving around. Kind of freaks the game out when it's Minecraft as the basic game without mods isn't really built to accommodate things like this. And here you go. Welcome to nowhere. This is nowhere. Yet, anyway. Someone might eventually build something there. We still have a lot of room for expansion for the town. We have, like, plots here. We still have room for 2 more rows of plots here that no one has taken. I guess we just don't have enough active Feed the Beast players. Anyway, I guess that's it. That's it. We finished the escalator. The only thing missing is that elevator music. I think it's pretty neat. I think it's a pretty cool project. Gave me a pretty good understanding of frames. Next time, we'll probably go back to the secret base and continue work on that. All right, we're done. Let's turn it off. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.